Hey everybody, good morning. Welcome to the Morning Devo with Beau. Hope you guys are well today. Doing good and getting ready for the weekend, right? Everybody's working for the weekend. Remember that tune? I am definitely a product of my generation. Someone just posted online my class of 1990 at Royal High School. I just saw it. I was going to our the Morning Devo with Beau. By the way, welcome. And you know how you have things that pop up like automatically. Well, I had the class of 1990 Royal High School pop up, and that's me. So I was in there. I'm right next to my friend Ramon Hernandez. I'm right friend Anthony Rosewinkle is by me. Yeah. So still got the long blonde hair there going, and yeah, super cool. Yeah, fun time for sure. Really glad to graduate. How many of us were just so stoked to graduate, right? Oh man. Hey, on the Morning Devo or devotion, we're going to be in Exodus 19, and we're going to get through this amazing kind of prelude, if you will, to the Ten Commandments. And so when you think of the Ten Commandments, you think of Exodus chapter 20. And in Exodus chapter 19, we see that Israel is a precious possession of God. And very interesting, very depicting of like a father to in a sense, a son, so to speak, or a daughter, that kind of like loving relationship, a precious possession. Something we would say to like our family, they're precious to us. We see that kind of relationship between God. So we see an intimacy continue to develop between the deity and his creation, which has been lost since the garden, since the time of Adam and Eve. There's been a separation due to sin, right? Due to rebellion. Wanting to do things on your own, thinking that your self-sufficiency is what's needed, that you can, just run on your own autonomy and everything's going to be fine. And we find that this is the human condition that has caused us all the problems from the beginning. Instead of us trusting God, our Creator, we run amok. And this is something that God is remedying, and through redemption, and there is a redeeming, there is a purchasing back, there is a blood that is needing to be shed. We're getting all this from the Bible. It's very interesting. A life needs to be shed for my life. That's how serious of an issue it is, by the way, is that life needs to, in a sense, either it's going to be my life and my blood, or it's going to be someone else's blood that's going to be in a sense, a payment for me. But who can really pay for me? Who can really cover my sin? And these are the big questions, right, as we continue through the narrative. So, hey, good morning, Paula and Tina. Hope you guys are doing well and ready for, I don't know, whatever Friday has. It's going to be a busy day for me at work. Yesterday, I kind of worked out of the house, so today we'll be at the office doing just book work and things of that nature. Kind of what anybody does at work, just work, right? A lot of tasks. Okay. Let's read through it. It's exactly 2 months after the Israelites left Egypt. So not too long. They arrived in the wilderness of Sinai, and after breaking camp at Rephidim, they came to the wilderness of Sinai and set up camp there at the base of Mount Sinai. Then Moses climbed the mountain to appear before God. The Lord called to him from the mountain and said, "Give these instructions to the family of Jacob." So this is the idea, is that God has revealed himself to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and of course before that Moses, and etc., and that there is now a nation that has come out of Jacob out of hundreds and hundreds of years of being in Egypt. So that's what Egypt did. People might ask, hey, why did God bring the people into Egypt? Well, population. They had sustenance and they could populate, and they certainly did. Remember, the promise to Abraham was that they would be a great nation and that there would be one born from Abraham's seed, one person that is going to bless the whole world. Now, this is something that we've been waiting for in a child that would be born from page 3 of the Bible. I know I harp on that a lot, but just so you know, continue to know the topic of the Bible. The Bible topic is God and this child that would be born. This is the big deal, the big thing. In a sense. Okay, so we see God's got some instructions for Moses, for the people of Jacob or Israel. Remember, Jacob's name was changed to Israel. And you can look up the meaning of Jacob, and you can look up the meaning of Israel, and see why God did that. Give these instructions. You have seen what I did to the Egyptians. You know how I carried you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. Oh, that's cool. God puts you on eagle's wings and brings you to himself. It's cool that it says, I carried you. Isn't that neat? God carries me. God carries you. You know, is that how you look at it? Or do you look at it like, man, it's you. It's you that's carrying it. You're the one who's doing it all. It's you. You got to do this. You got to do that. In order for God to like you, man, you're going to have to do this. And you're going to have to do that. And you're going to have to do this, man. Because you know what? If you don't obey 100%, man, God's going to, he got it in for you. And some people carry that kind of burden. I love that the precedent that is set in the Bible for deliverance is that it's God's prerogative. God does the delivering. He does it even when hearts are stubborn and people are complaining. God continues to deliver. And that is a really beautiful truth, because boy, do we have as human beings some serious pride and stubborn issues. And it says God carried them on eagle's wings. Now, if you've never read Isaiah 40, the very end of it, the last 2 verses of Isaiah 40, you might want to do that, because it's kind of like this, and it's really pretty, beautiful. So God carries him on eagle's wings, and he says, I brought you to myself. Isn't that beautiful? The idea of offering, to bring near. God brings us near to him through an offering. Wow. And it says, now if you obey me and keep my covenant, you will be my own special treasure from among all the peoples of the earth. There is an interesting relationship that's happening between the nation now and God. Of course, it was first seen in individuals, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But now we see it collectively in the nation. That the nation would be a special treasure to God, one in whom this revelation would come through. The revelation of God would come through the nation of Jacob or the nation of Israel. When we say Israel today, you can't say Jacob, the nation of Jacob, because it's the descendants of his children. You know, all of those kids that he had, Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Zebulun, Ashatar, and it goes down, right? That's what we're talking about. And, this is probably why there's so much people that hate Jacob. Just like Amalek did in the previous chapter, or last couple chapters ago, and attacked him. So we see that today, that there is a hatred for the people of Jacob. They certainly are a special group of people because this is the revelation of God is through them. If you have any revelation of God that contradicts the revelation given through Israel, then it's not right. That's the implication here. That if you have another revelation of God that is different from the revelation of God through Jacob, Israel, then it's wrong. It's not the correct one. It is falsed out, so to speak. And that is a tough pill for many to swallow. You mean truth is of the Jews of Israel? I mean, what? And Jesus says in John chapter 4, yes, it is an affirmative. And so if you have another prophet after Jesus that says something that's any time contrary to the Torah or the other writings in what's called the Old Testament, then guess what? You can easily spot that it's wrong. Pretty cool, right? God's established a track record of revelation so people can compare and contrast. Hey, is this right? Is this wrong? I love it that God makes it simple for us to be able to see what is right and what is wrong. He has a revelation. And it's not just something that was done in secret, but it's very visible, so visible, it's on the news every day. This country called Israel. Not too subtle, is it? Yeah, God has made it very, very known that his revelation is through these people. And it says they would be a special treasure if they obey the covenant from among the peoples, all the peoples of the earth. There would be a definitely uniqueness to them. For all the earth belongs to me, and you will be my kingdom of priests. Israel was to be a kingdom of priests. It says, you will be a kingdom of priests, my holy nation. This is the message you must give to the people of Israel. Wow, what a message. Not a positive message. Hey, man, you're going to be a kingdom of priests. Man, that must have been radical. Wow, we're going to be priests, ministers to God. You know, the Bible says that through Jesus Christ, we have become a kingdom of priests. We have been brought near to the Father through the sacrifice, the Passover lamb of Jesus. And now we have been given a right standing with God through the righteousness of Christ, and now we can serve God. We can serve him. What we're doing in church, when we sing, is we are serving the Lord. We are priest before him, ministering unto the Lord. Man, that is a lot bigger. You're not in church to get some, oh, I feel so good. No. You got it all backwards. That is selfish. You're not there to make you feel great. You're there to minister to the Lord as priest. Wow. How many people do you think really get that? That you're there at the church to minister to the Lord. That's why you're there. You're a kingdom of priests. You're not there primarily to, oh, I love this. This is what it's about me. It's what I like. No. Minister to the Lord, man. I sing to the Lord because the Lord is worthy. I am to minister to him. And how I minister to him is by praising his name. So Moses returned from the mountain and called together the elders of the people and told them everything the Lord had commanded him. And all the people responded together, "We will do everything the Lord has commanded." So Moses brought the people's answer back to the Lord. Hey, they sound pretty pumped up, man. They affirm, we're going to do it all. Hey, have you ever felt this way? No way I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to follow the Lord. I feel confident about this. Oh, yeah? Let's see how it goes. Then the Lord said to Moses, "I will come to you in a thick cloud, Moses, so the people themselves can hear me when I speak with you. Then they will answer, or they will always trust you." Moses told the Lord what the people had said. Then the Lord said told Moses, "Go down and prepare the people for my arrival. Consecrate them today and tomorrow and have them wash their clothing. Go through a baptism. Go through an immersion of water. Baptism. Get ready. Consecrate. Separate yourself. Get ready. Be sure that they are ready on the third day. For on that day the Lord will come down on Mount Sinai as all the people watch." Interesting. Third day. The third day will be the arrival. That sounds kind of resurrecting-like, right? But on the third day, they are to be washed, ready, and prepared. This is the people of Israel as a nation at the foot of Mount Sinai. They are to be prepared and waiting on the Lord. Bathe, be clean, the idea of washing, renewal, hopeful renewal, anticipatory. When you get ready for something special, you kind of get cleaned up. It doesn't mean that it's not bad. You can it's not that you can't go to church just in your regular clothes. No, go, hear the word, get in there. But as we grow in our walk with the Lord, there's no doubt something that goes on in our heart where we want to be prepared, as we meet together. We want to be, in a sense, clean, washed, prepared, ready to serve, that kind of thing. The idea, especially for these people, there's a lot of labor that's involved in their lifestyle. It's working in the field, working all the time, picking up things. It's not like today where we live in these homes and we have air conditioners and, you think of all the sweat back then, right? The traveling that they've done on foot. And you go, wow, yeah, I could see God saying, hey, prepare, bathe. So a lot of immersions going on. Be sure they are ready on the third day. Mark off a boundary all around the mountain. Warn the people, be careful. Do not go up on the mountain or even touch its boundaries. Anyone who touches the mountain will certainly be put to death. It's like a capital punishment. No hand may touch the person or animal that crosses the boundary. Instead, stone them or shoot them with arrows. Man, if someone's going to get them, you make sure you stop them from going to get on the mountain. So some person says, I'm going to go up on the mountain, and they decide to rebel and get up on the mountain. You don't go after them. However, the ram's horn, when the ram's horn sounds a long blast, you might have heard of a shofar. That's what this is talking about. Then the people may go up on the mountain. Could you imagine how cool this is? This, man, it must have been awesome. Cool sounds. Sounds mean movement. Isn't that cool? The sounds mean movement. When you hear the sound, there is a moving of the people. And it says, so Moses went down to the people. He consecrated them for worship. Isn't that cool? Why did they go through the bathing? Why did they go through the cleansing? To get prepared to what? Worship. Worship the Lord. I guess that's where Sunday's best comes in. And they washed their clothes. He told them, get ready for the third day, and until then abstain from having sexual intercourse. So Sunday's best. Put on your Sunday's best. You might have heard that before. You watch an old movie and you'll hear people maybe say that. Hey, put on your Sunday best. But I think this is where it comes from, actually, is that idea of, hey, the Lord is wanting us to be prepared. So the people of Israel are prepared, ready to go, ready to serve, wanting to be clean. When you wash and you put on some different kind of clothes, it can be a preparatory thing for something special. For instance, I just did a wedding, and it was a pretty cool wedding, by the way. But this was a wedding where I actually got a new suit for this wedding. It was so special of a wedding, so to speak. And sometimes when you have something special like that, there becomes kind of new clothes that you wear that fit, that are appropriate for the context that you're going to be in. And so this is kind of that idea. So nothing's wrong with dressing up. Some people really like to dress to the hilt, and that's kind of how they roll. Some people, their dress up is a little different than other people's dress up. It just depends on kind of what you're used to wearing a lot. If I wear a button up with a collar, that's pretty dressed up for Beau, because I'm just not usually in a collared shirt. That's not kind of what Beau has always been used to over his life. But some people wear collared shirts all the time. They're always in a collared shirt. And so for them, they put on a jacket, like a sports jacket, and they think that's dressing up. But then there's people that kind of wear sports jackets kind of often, and they think dressing up is like dressing in a full-blown suit with a tie. And that's how they go about it. And so you could see it can sometimes be a little different. The main thing, you think of is we all want to be prepared. No matter what we're wearing, we want to be in our hearts certainly prepared to serve the Lord. There are some strong warnings in the New Testament, in the book of James, when you start looking at people's clothes and judging them. That if you're looking at people and you're judging them based on your clothes, then, man, you can really be in a wrong place in the heart. One that God is not happy with at all, meaning it's not Jesus-like at all. Meaning we got to be careful that when someone is not of your economic status, comes into the church, right? That you're not, judging them, that you're not looking at them down or showing favoritism. It's a big issue, right? So, but we can see where, hey, putting on your Sunday best, getting ready to worship, we can see where it comes from. Is it initially a bad thing to, again, wear nice clothes? No, it can be great. The problem is when you start judging other people and you start getting all messed up in your heart and I'm better and God likes me more because look at what I got on. No, so, and then it says don't have sexual intercourse. Hey, abstain from that until, and you think of why. Why would you want to, why does God say abstain from sexual intercourse? I mean, what's that all about? Well, I think the idea is the idea of the seriousness of the situation. When something's really going on, when there's seriousness happening, there is in a sense, a break from the just the daily things that you do. And that could be even the sexual behavior with your spouse. When something's really heavy going on in the family, right? And if someone is like, says, oh, I want to have sex, and like something seriously crazy is going on in your family and it's super grievous and it's, hardcore, and someone just died or something's going on or there's a very serious issue or da-da-da-da, and someone just ignores that and says, I want to have sex, that's kind of like a red flag, right? Like, what? Like, do you know what just happened? Like, are you aware? Like, hey, use some self-control, brother, sister. Hey, let's prepare our hearts to seek the Lord. Let's put aside, everything we want to do, and let's seek the Lord. Even those most intimate things, that might give us, the pleasure that we like. Let's get ready to seek God. And there's a cool thing there. And I like that myself. I think it's important that we learn how to prepare, to seek God and not ignore the seriousness of issues. And obviously, hanging out with God on Mount Sinai was a big deal. Pretty serious. Serious things just happened. We've just traveled a long ways. We just saw the Egyptian army get tossed into the sea. We just saw God do amazing things. Now he wants to have a chat with us. It's time to prepare our hearts. So on the morning of the third day, thunder roared and lightning flashed, and a dense cloud came down on the mountain. There was a long, loud blast from a ram's horn, and all the people trembled. Moses led them out from the camp to meet with God. This must have been intense. And they stood at the foot of the mountain, and all of Mount Sinai was covered with smoke because the Lord had descended on it in the form of fire. The smoke billowed in the sky like smoke from a brick kiln, and the whole mountain shook violently. Now, I've been in some earthquakes in my life. Some of them have been not fun at all. Been scary, people die. And, it's not something that you just forget about really easy. Could you imagine having a meeting with someone that it's so vital that it is about your life and death? I mean, that's how this meeting is. Do you think you'd be serious going into that meeting? How serious would you be? How attentive would you be? And could you imagine having a meeting with the Lord? And, we saw how it was with Moses, or with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob when they met with the Lord on the planet. And those are some serious issues, man. They bowed, they paid homage to God. They were very attentive in their meetings. And here we see the whole nation is going to meet with the deity, and he appears as fire, a cloud of fire. And there is this rumbling that's going on. It must be intense. And it says, as the blast of the ram's horn grew louder and louder. This is cool, man. It's like a didgeridoo, man. But it's just this shofar blast that's just getting louder and louder. Moses spoke and God thundered his reply. The Lord came down on the top of Mount Sinai and called Moses to the top of the mountain. So Moses climbed the mountain. Wow. Then the Lord told Moses, go back down and warn the people not to break through the boundaries to see the Lord, or they will die. Even the priests who regularly come near to the Lord must purify themselves so that the Lord does not break out and destroy them. But Lord, Moses protested, the people cannot come up to Mount Sinai. You already warned us. You told us, mark off the boundary all around the mountain and set it apart as holy. But the Lord said, "Go down and bring Aaron back up with you. In the meantime, do not let the priest or the people break through to approach the Lord. He will break out and destroy them." So there's this holiness, this boundary of holiness. Only Moses and Aaron break this at this juncture and touch that mountain. Other than that, there is this. Now, this is obviously saying something to us, just in a big picture kind of way. And that is, there is a separation between God and people. There is a distance, something wrong, an issue. Obviously, one of holiness. That's what it's talking about, this distinction. There is the holy, and there is obviously the profane. There is the clean, and there is the unclean. That kind of idea that's being shown here. Something is amiss. Something is off. To meet with God is no simple task. So when I was younger and used to say, man, why doesn't God just show up? Why doesn't God just show himself? Why doesn't God just reveal himself? If God's really real, wouldn't he just do this? Wouldn't he just do that? Do you see what was wrong with me? I wasn't understanding that there's something in the very nature of God that presents a problem, if you will, to God just coming down here and hanging out with you. Meaning God is holy. And so because God is perfect and holy and righteous, there is, by that definition, going to be an issue with how God is going to react when he approaches us as humans. Meaning if his righteousness follows him, which it does, it would seem to venture that when God draws near, then his righteousness will judge. He will judge unrighteousness. He will see your discrepancies, your errors, your faults, your flaws, your rebellion. And he won't just see it, but in righteousness, there will be a judgment upon you. There is a boundary. It's funny how people bag on God all the time. God, why does God do this? God, hey, do you have boundaries? Do you have boundaries in your life? Oh, yeah, you do, right? Oh, yeah, I have a boundary with this person. I have a boundary with that person. Yeah, well, God's got a boundary with you and me. The boundary. I'm a holy God. So his lack of presence is actually his mercy on you and me. That's an interesting idea, is God in his mercy has a distance from us because our sin has separated us from God. So there's a boundary. We get a big picture of that in this chapter. Man, God, how is this boundary going to be bridged? Well, we know it's going to be through a Passover. We know it's going to be through firstborn. We know it's going to be through sacrifice. We're getting this in the book of Exodus. So, but the Lord protested. Oh, wait, let's see. But the Lord said in verse 24, "Go down and bring Aaron back up with you. In the meantime, let not the priest," okay, no one break that boundary. So Moses went down to the people and told them what the Lord had said. Okay, so that's the end of the chapter. That's really it. So today I just want to be thankful, of course, to Jesus, because he's the one who has destroyed that boundary. He's the one who has now made it possible that we can approach God freely, forgiven of our sins. We are totally forgiven through the Messiah's atonement for us. And boy, is that nice to know. But this is the narrative of the Bible. It's giving us a history, a revelation of the issue of why Jesus is going to need to die for us, because there is a boundary. Nothing's wrong with having good boundaries. Sometimes boundaries are set in place because they need to be. You touch the mountain, you die. There needs to be that boundary there. Have you ever been to a concert where, you want to get on stage, but you can't because there's a boundary? They have like a gate, and then there's a space, and all the security people are there, and they won't let you get up on that stage, man. There's a boundary between the performers and the audience. And it's to make sure no one gets hurt. Stage might be super tall, and you get up on that stage and you fall off the stage, or you trip, or you pull a plug, or something happen, and you could really get damaged, really hurt. So there is a time for boundaries. But through Jesus Christ, there's no more boundary, man. You got free access. Now, I got to tell you, I was at a concert last night downtown at this real cool dungy place that I sometimes go to. And it's a neat place because it's small and it's kind of dark and dingy. The place was sold out. It was packed. And this is a tiny place too, not a big place. And it's neat because there's no boundary from the audience to the performer. You can literally get on the stage, run around in circles, and jump off if you want. You can get on stage, grab a microphone, and say your name, and jump back out in the audience. That's what Jesus has done. Jesus has eliminated that middle boundary between the performer and the audience. It is an open door to go and meet with the Father. We can talk to God directly because that middle ground, that middle area has been abolished, destroyed through the sacrifice of Jesus Christ. We are forgiven. The atonement has been made. We are cleansed, and we can freely, boldly come before the throne of grace, the Bible says. Wow. Very cool. Okay, so I made it through another concert, and I made it through another Devo. So Exodus 19 in the books. I know I got some interesting stories, but they're kind of, I'm a product of my culture for sure. You can definitely tell that. So you guys take care. Have a great one. Have a great weekend. Okay. Bye-bye.